schön unschuldig von armen Stand, lied ihr schöne Blut. Geht sich lieber zur reichen Mann in Hand, weil sie Durst noch Glanz und Ruhm. Der Reiche kauft ihr Unschuld vor das Sammetkleid, ihre Liebe vor aus eigenen Händen. Verschwand ihr Lebensaft, stillt seine Leidenschaft, dann wird zu ihr gefreut. Die Schmerz und Leid von kranke Seelen, wie bitter Klund verkauft die Tod, verspielt die Jugend, versammeln sein, was Teugen sein, was bringt Leiden, die Unschuld schweigen, seht zum Tod. Billige Kleid, nur ein ehrlich Mensch, das ist mehr geschätzt bei Leid, wie Samenseid. Der Ambulanz in Hospital hat spät bei Nacht gebracht am Mädel schön verziert. Gift zu trinken hat das Schicksal ihr gebracht, weil ein reicher Mann hat ihr verführt. In Samet und in Seide sie gewänder Kleid, ihr Brunnen ob ihr blass wie Kräut. jetzt mein Leib, wie Sammet und
Oh, what a gorgeous voice. Oh my gosh.
I have one complaint. When they sing like that, I don't understand half the lyrics. It just disguises the words.
When
Well,
they say that, I can't understand them in English, so.
And
yeah, but her voice is just magnificent.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, I came late and I missed it.
Okay, let's start. We will, Sandra, we will listen to it once again, so no problem.
I'd
So,
like to read the English.
what? You would like to read the English, please? Please, Bonnie.
Something.
Yeah, that's okay.
Sammet und Seide, Velvet and Silk, featured in the 1924 Yiddish operetta Heinteke Mädlich Girls of Today. It warns poor young women not to be seduced by a rich suitor's promise of wealth and fine clothes. The music is by Herman Wall, the lyrics by Louis Gilrod. In the 1924 show, Tessie, the girl who goes astray, was played by Jenny Goldstein. The liner notes on the Milken Archive website says that in that production, she sang it in the second act after arriving at a hospital, drugged, demoralized, and near death. Some advertisements even implored mothers to bring their daughters to the show. Wow.
Go on.
Oh, it is sung here by Amy Goldstein with the Vienna Chamber Orchestra.
Okay, thank you. So let's start the Yiddish. Hilda, can you start, please?
A Mädel schön und unschuldig, von armen Stand, blüht wie a schöne Blume. A young, shall I translate that?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, a young girl, yes, beautiful and innocent, of poor standing, blooms like a beautiful flower. Geht sich über zu a reichen Mann in Hand, in Hand, in Hand, weil sie durch noch Glanz und Ruhm. Ruhm, what is Ruhm?
Glory.
Sorry?
Glory.
Glory. Wow. She gives herself over to a rich man, into the hands of a rich man, while she thirsts after glance.
Okay.
Thinking of when
Glitter.
on now. Okay.
Glitter, yes, good word. Un room, glory. Glitter and glory.
Okay.
Yeah, so the word vile is because she thirsts.
Ah, yes,
Glitter
fine.
and glory.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Hilda. Sandra, do you want to continue?
Der Reicher kauft
Hi,
ihr.
I'm sorry. I didn't have a chance to put my, I'm working with two machines here. Dorscht means thirst.
Thirst.
Thirst. Okay.
Yeah, good. Okay, Sandra, please.
Der Reicher kauft ihr Umschuld für a Samtkleid. Samtkleid. The rich person buys this her innocence
Her innocent.
for a, is that a silk gown?
Velvet.
a velvet gown. Ihr Liebe für a Seidenhemd, and her love for a satin shirt.
Silk.
That's silk. Zaid
Oh,
is silk.
seiden is silk. For a silk blouse.
Mhm.
Verschwindet ihr Lebenssaft. He fools her. I don't understand that. That word, I don't know.
Well, Lebenssaft is her life's blood, her spirit.
Wow.
And verschwunden literally means to disappear. It means he robs her of her life's blood.
Yeah. Whoa, it's heavy. Of her life's blood. Stellt sein Leidenschaft, his way of living. He
No, erstellt means he satisfies, he calms his passion.
Stellt sein.
It's stillt, like
Still,
still,
still.
right? He quiets down, he
He
satisfies
quiets down
his passion.
His passion. Leidenschaft is passion. Is that right?
Right.
Leidenschaft. Dann wird zu ihr gar fremd. And after that, because of that, he becomes completely uninterested in her.
Okay, thank you. Maurice, you want to add anything?
Well, that's fine. That's good.
Okay, thank you. Cookie.
Sure. Summit und Dein. What's that first letter?
Zaid, it's a
Zaid.
Zion.
Dein kennen nicht verheilen. In other words, what does summit mean?
Velvet.
Oh, okay. I always thought it was satin. So velvet can heal her wounds. Schmerz und Leid von kranke Seelen. I don't understand that. Schmerz und
Schmerz is pain and suffering of a sick soul.
yeah, von what? Von
Seelen is a Germanic word. It means souls, like neshama. It's the Deutschmerisch word.
Oh, so in other words, go ahead, you do it. I'll just read. Bitte klingt. How bitterness rages or something, or clings.
Okay, Cookie, you know
Yeah.
what? Just start from the beginning, just read it and Maurice will translate, okay? Just read it.
Summit on I can't get that first letter. What is
It's
that?
Zion, Zaid.
On Zaid. Oh, okay. Summit und Zaid kennen nicht verheilen. Die Schmerz und Leid von kranke Seelen. Wie bitte klunkt. Verkauft die Sognecht.
Okay.
Verspielt die Jugend.
Mhm.
Versammelt und Zaid.
Right.
Okay, thank you,
So
Cookie. Now Maurice will translate.
Right. So velvet and silk cannot heal the pain and the suffering of a sick soul. Now, the next two sentences, I have no idea what they are. I've tried many dictionaries. I don't know. But the last two, verspielt die Jugend, she's lost her youth. Versammelt und Zaid. She's lost her youth for velvet and silk.
Mm.
If somebody knows those middle two sentences.
Yeah, I see that
glad to
refer
hear.
is his end, so refer
Yeah.
please.
Okay, so it's quite Germanic here. Klugend is cleverness, and Tugend is virtue. So how bitterly cleverness sells away her virtue, and her youth is wasted for Samet und Seid.
Okay, thank you.
Could it be sold? Because there's something a little harsher. I mean, sold. She sold it. She sold her youth. She spent it.
Well,
Spiel.
spielt it, she wasted it, she lost it. But the kluget, I don't see how cleverness, I don't get it. I don't
I
understand.
have a
that.
thought. I read it as klinget, which would mean to wing like a bell. And so how bitterness wings is an old idiom I've heard in
Oh,
Germanic. Like, you can't know it. It's all encompassing.
that's
Okay,
cool.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
sure. I don't know. Those last two, the last word in those two sentences
She
are new
sold
to
her.
me, so I couldn't make it out.
Can you
Okay.
repeat about klugend? Whoever said it.
Rafael had
Klugent-
an explanation.
Yeah,
I don't
Klugent is
know it.
cleverness. And I think that works then as a subject. How bitter cleverness has sold off her virtue.
Bitter,
Klugen's virtue?
bitter cleverness. Oh, okay. Has sold off her virtue.
Yeah, she thought she was being clever marrying the guy, right? And it didn't.
But probably didn't marry.
Isn't it his bitter cleverness wastes her? Isn't it that wastes her virtue?
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, she's not portrayed as a scheming seductress.
No, it's
She's
his bitter.
portrayed as being a victim of his
No, I don't know. I think
enticements.
she sold her virtue and her youth
No,
for
he took it. He took it.
Right, but how is that?
His
I
cleverness.
don't see how that's cleverness. Anyway,
His parentheses.
Because she thought she was gonna get velvet and silk and wealth and everything, but she didn't think of the other things that could go on.
She thought she was clever.
Yeah.
maybe.
Come
but-
on.
Okay.
He thought he's clever.
Yes, it's his cleverness.
Mm.
It's the difference between women and men. Forever.
Okay, it used to be, not anymore. Okay, let's continue, but we will just, things that we know. Okay, so Henrietta, can you read this?
Was
Eugen,
Eugen Seiden, was war bringen Leiden, die Amtsschild
Umschuld.
scheiden sie zum Tod. Okay, Maurice, you're on.
Maurice, okay.
sure.
I have
So-
my interpretation, but I don't think it's strong enough.
Right, so was teugen sein, what good are silks, was bringen Leiden, that bring suffering. Die Umschuld schneiden sie zum Teut. So the they refers to the
Unschuldig is not guilty.
right, it's innocence, but
Yeah,
the velvet and the silks end her innocence. They bring her innocence to their end, to their death.
Das ist eher traurige Meinzen.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. So let's continue. Can you continue just reading and Maurice will translate, Henrietta?
A billige Kleidung, nur an ehrliche Mädel. Das ist mehr Geschäft bei Leid wie Sames unter und
Right.
Und Seid.
Leid.
Good. Okay, so Maurice, please.
A cheap little dress, but an honest girl. That's prized more highly. People prize it more highly than velvet and silk.
Mm.
Rina Leah?
Okay, I'll just read.
No, sorry. That is
Marcia can
reserved.
translate.
No,
Marcia-
sorry.
Okay.
I will call on you later. This is reserved, I see. Marsha. I am sending, so I sent it to Marsha to practice on it. So, Marsha.
Entschuldigt mir. Der Ambulance und Hospital hat spät bei Nacht. The ambulance in the hospital late in the night gebracht a Mädel schön verziert. Schön verziert. Brought a beautiful Mädel who was adorned and embellished. A gift zu tragen hat der
Trinken. Gift zu trinken.
Entschuldigung. Gift zu trinken hat der Schicksal ihr gebracht. A poison to drink was her gift, destiny. That was her destiny. Weil a reicher Mann hat ihr verführt, while a rich man led her astray.
Good.
Good.
Yeah, go on. Before this, just a moment. Rafael, you want to comment on something?
In that first line, in hospital, I would understand that to mean to the hospital. Not in the hospital, but to the hospital.
To the hospital.
To the hospital. Okay.
And what was verveerd again?
Verveerd is to mislead, mislead, misguided. And I thought it was he led her astray. I mean, that was my
exactly. That's the word there, to
What's
lead astray.
The last word in the second line.
She was well dressed.
What does that mean?
Embellished and adorned. Embellished.
That's a tough one.
You know what? I found that in the dictionary without the middle test.
Yeah, without the tet. The tet, I think, is wrong here. Yeah?
Okay.
The foil. The
Cross
tet
it out.
is wrong, yeah? The foil?
Right, cross it out.
Yeah.
I agree.
I cannot do it now because it's, yeah. Okay, so, Marsha, it's still yours.
Okay. In Summit und inside is sie gewen bekleid in silk and excuse me, in velvet and silk. She was dressed. She was dressed.
Yes, yeah.
Aber Ponym aber Blois wie Kleid.
Blas.
Cried. Blas wie cried. But her face was pale like chalk. Wenn die Nacht hat dem Tag der Zen, when the night saw the day, when the night turned into day, is sie shine toit gewen. She was, when the night turned into day, she was gone. She was no longer with us. A Korban von Samet und Side. A Korban means
a victim.
Don't tell me I got it here.
You prepared, Maurice.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. The Korban means she was a sacrificial victim, as a sacrificial victim. And she was dressed in velvet and silk.
No, she was a victim of velvet and silk.
So where is the victim?
Here, a
Korban.
korban. A
Korban is
korban.
a victim.
That's also an Hebrew word. The korban is a victim. Thank you, Marsha. You did a good job. you prepared. Rafael, you want to add anything?
No, that's fine.
Because I see your hand is up.
Oh, sorry, I'll lower it.
Okay. Okay. Maurice, you want to add anything?
No, that's fine. That's good.
Okay. So, Rina
Oh.
Lea.
Are we finished?
No. Rina
Oh,
Lea.
Okay, maybe Maurice could translate, I think. Or maybe I'll try. Summit und sein can neat farhalen. Okay, so velvet and silk cannot. What is farhalen?
Heal or cure.
Cure. Okay. Die Schmerz und Leid von kranker Seelen. The pain and something from suffering from sick. What is Seelen?
Souls.
Souls. Oh, that's
sick.
already, yeah, we already translated it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Wie bitter klugend. Oh, okay. Oh, we went through that. We wasn't through bitter sounds. We kind of weren't sure what this all was.
Okay, so
Maurice had a theory on this one. Do you want to say what it was again, Maurice?
She lost her youth for velvet and silk.
Okay.
Okay, so now, okay. Rina Lea, read this because this we didn't do before.
Okay, I'm going to have Maurice translate, I think. Was Teugen Zeiden, was bringen Leiden. Die Umschuld schneiden, ze zum Teut. A billige Kleidel, nur an ehrlich Mädel, das ist mehr geschätzt bei Leid, wie Summit und Sein. Maurice, we just translated, I know it rhymes.
Sure. What good are silks that bring pain? They destroy innocence. A cheap little dress, but an honest girl. That's what people prize more than velvet and silk.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you can.
Why do we get this sad song? Why? What's the reason for bringing it? What?
Okay, doesn't have to be a reason to bring it. It's, you know.
I have an answer because that's life.
Why?
Okay, that's a good answer.
Right. That's how it is.
That's how it is. That's a good answer.
I think because it probably happened a lot.
Yeah.
And in any case, how many times can we play Shane Vidi Levuna?
Yeah. Okay, so let's listen. Let's listen to it once again because it's beautifully sung. So.
Verschwand ihr Lebensaft wie Schmerz und Leid von kranke Seelen, wie bitter Klund verkäuft die Tod, verspielt die Jugend, versammeln seid, was Teugen seid, was bringt Leiden, die Umschuld schneiden, seht zum Teid. Ah, billige Kleid, nur eine Lach mehr, das ist mehr geschätzt bei Leid, wie Samenseid. Der Ambulanz in Hospital hat spät bei Nacht gebracht am Mädel schön verziert. Gift zu trinken hat das Schicksal ihr gebracht, weil reicher Mann hat ihr verführt. In Samet und in Seide sie gewänder Kleid, ihr Brunnen obe blass wie Kräut. In der Nacht und im Tag erseng, sie schon Zeit gewähnt, hat Korn vom Samet und Seid. Die Schmerz und Leid von kranke Seelen, wie bitter Klugend verkäuft die Tugend, verspielt die Jugend, versagen sein, was Teugen sein, was bringen Leiden, die Umschuld schneiden, seht zum Teid. Billige Kleid, nur eine Lach mehr, das ist mehr geschätzt bei Leid, wie Samet und
Okay, so Beverly and then Elaine. Beverly?
Oh, I just want to say that what was a beautiful song, a beautiful voice, and it was obviously a show to teach people to be careful, because when they came to this country, I guess the women were so easily impressed by the cars and the silk and the velvet, but it led them astray. So it teaches what we were living through at the time, and even maybe today. Beautiful thing.
Sure.
Thank you. Elaine?
I wanted to ask about the word schneiden. So it's cuts, you know, like Schneider, like a tailor. So I'm wondering whether it could be used as reduced. Is that a normal other? I don't know whether it's poetic license, you know, but is schneiden reduced, or could it be cuts? I don't.
Here it's definitely cut, because the rest of the sentence, I don't know why I printed out this way. It's die Umschuld schneiden sie zum Teut. Zum Teut. The velvet and the silk cut her innocence to their death, to the death. She loses her innocence because of them. So here it's cutting.
Oh, I was wondering why
Yeah.
okay. I was wondering why it was that schneiden instead of just schneid.
Right, because it's the velvets and the silks. Right, they're the ones that put an end to her innocence.
Got it.
Schneiden zum Teut.
Okay. Thank you. Daniel, yes?
I just wanted to say that I think that this whole the play, the song, it's a really interesting counterpoint to like the rags to riches stories that were incredibly popular around this time. This is kind of the exact opposite. Those from the shtetl all seem to be more suspicious, whereas like for the local Italian population around this time, there was like the big push to become rich, hard work, or get that fancy car. So I just think it's a really interesting contrast.
Sure. And in fact, in 2023, it's still prevalent in certain circles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Mario?
It's also the 1920s. Remember, that was a big, everybody was doing all this fancy stuff. The economy was booming and people were looking to, have great pleasure and stuff, as opposed to the 30s when we know what happened, right?
Can I add something to that?
Yes, Hilda.
Yeah. So this is a genre. It's melodrama.
Right.
Okay. And in late Victorian time, so the late 19th century, melodrama was prevalent in all genres, in literature and in music and so on, where they would exaggerate the tragic situation in order to convey a message. So it happened in lots and lots of songs, English songs as well. It was a genre that was very popular at the time.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay,
I appreciate
thank
the
you.
input, Hilda. I guess it's just a genre I don't know much about.
Okay. Anyone else want to comment before we are going to?
I just want to say, I'm noticing that for some reason today, the hand is not coming down after a few seconds. So everybody has to be more conscious to lower their hand than usual.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because I keep asking here. Okay, sure. Hi, Michael. Nice to see you. I know
I
that
want
you're
to say
driving.
something. I want to
know
say
that you're
something.
driving, so I want. Sorry?
Ich fahre in New Mexico, in Santa Fe.
Okay, du fährst in Santa Fe. Okay, nice.
Ja.
Scheint, sehr nice.
Gut, euch zu sehen.
Okay.
I want to say something.
Yeah,
Mina. There was a time when we thought that Jews were not thieves, were not prostitutes, etc., etc. And some of the melodrama brought that forward. that lives were the same, or not all the same. There were tragic lives, there were bad lives, there were good lives. Who were the biggest gangsters? Al Capone.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, but Jews can be all of the above, so no problem. Okay, so any more comments before we move to our story about Meir that doesn't resemble any regular Jewish bochur? He's not studying, he likes to eat, he finds his place in the army, he has no problem with the army. The problem, the mother and his wife, as with it. And now after 6 years, he finished his service in the army and he's coming back. So let's finish the story today. I will make it larger in a moment. Okay, guys? I just get to the place where we stopped last time, which is here, which is after the asterisk. It's okay? Make it bigger? Okay.
Yeah. Little bit bigger if you can.
A little bit bigger?
Little bit.
Okay, oh, no. That
Move
was
it.
too.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, okay, Rafael, please. Sis gewesen a Sommertag.
Es ist gewesen a Sommertag, Freitag. It was a summer day. It was Friday. Von die Keimens in Pukatelova geht Reich. From the chimneys in Pukatelova, there was smoke rising. Me kocht die Fisch und me stellt dem Cholent. People are cooking fish. This is for Shabbos, and they're getting the cholent ready. Jinglich seinen schon frei von Cheder und laufen herum in die Gassen. The kids are already let out of school, and they're running around in the streets. In der ganzen Stadt weiß man schon, als Meir Shimons kommt auf Shabbos, kein Protokolova. In the entire town, everyone knows already that Meir, the son of Shimon, he's coming for Shabbos to Pukitilova. Pukitilova, yes. Oisgedint, having demobilized, having been demobbed, having served his service. Wie gich es seinen fliegende Jahren, how quickly the years have flown by. Was es tut sich bei Shimonen in Stub, konnt ihr verstehen. You can well understand how excited people are in Shimon's house. Plötzlich springen rein zu Shimonen in Stub efter 10 Kinder. Suddenly, maybe 10 children jump into Shimon's house. Wo seinen gestanden waren teuer, kids who were standing in front of the gate. Kedei ois zu chappen die Psure und schreien, in order to literally grab the news, to be the first to announce. Und schreien, and they shout out, fort, he's coming! Fort, he's coming! Fort, he's coming! Pferd laufen mit der Wagen, und es geht a Porach von unter die Fies. Horses are running with a wagon, and there is a porach would be a cloud? I don't know, from under their feet. What's a porach?
A porach is a steam.
Oh, steam, of course. And steam is rising from their feet. Thank you. Bei Shimonen seinen alle a Reis von Stub. In Shimon's place, everyone comes out of the house. Die Mama fällt auf den Hals. His mother falls on his neck, embraces him. Chaike steht nicht tight, nicht lebendig. And Chaike is standing neither dead nor alive. Schreinem und Kinder stupen sich. Neighbors and children are shoving each other. Lass mich, lass aruf. Pustitje. Let me, get aruf. Someone shouts out. Pustitje. That sounds very Slavic to me. Pust is empty. So,
Russian, and it says make way,
okay, Pustitia is make way. Thank you.
make way.
Und wie man kommt da rein in Stube rein, man ruht sich a bissel ab. As soon as he comes, or people come into the house, then one rests a little bit. Und man get a cook auf der eigener Vibe. And he looks at his own wife, wo steht da so Shemavdik auf der Seite, who's standing so embarrassed or shamefaced, maybe at the side. Und kann nicht durchs redende Wort, and she cannot speak a word. Während dem Kalamutnya auf den Herzen, he becomes a little distressed.
Okay,
Shall I
another.
continue?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, please, another one, another paragraph, please.
Von dem Shabbos will ich nicht erzählen. I don't want to tell you any more about that Shabbos. 300 Hand geben Mehren Shalom Aleichem in Kleis. 300 hands greet Meir, giving him saying Shalom Aleichem in the shul. In der Früh, der Maftir und der Kiddush mit Neulam. In the morning, he is given the honor of reciting the Maftir reading, or he gets the Maftir Aliyah, and he recites the Kiddush. Die Stadt schickt Eingemachts mit Wein. The town sends jelly and wine, gifts of food. Die Mutter guckt allemal auf ihr Sohn und danach auf der Schnur. His mother looks all the time at her son and later at her daughter-in-law. Is gar nicht zu erkennen. He's hardly recognizable. Nach 5 Mal so groß wie a Heidemak. He is 5 times as big as a Heidemak. A Heidemak is a Cossack, a kind of soldier.
Okay, so just a moment. Heidemak, I looked it up. Heidemak was a member of bands that massacred Jews in Ukraine in the 17th and 18th century. So that's the origin of the name. Afterwards, it became associated with, with Cossacks.
Right. I've got it listed as a Ukrainian paramilitary band. And refers to the pogroms of Tat V'Tat.
Tahtat. So 17th, 18th century. Tahtat. I have
right.
to
1648, 1649.
Yeah, so that's 17, yeah.
Right. Und Chaiken is gar nicht Yontif dik auf den Herzen. But for Chaike, it doesn't feel like Yontif in her heart. Epis seine Augen, as they gucken auf ihre seinen wie Glas. Somehow his eyes, when they look at her, they're like glass. Nicht ein Wort hat zu ihr gesagt. He hasn't spoken a single word to her. Die Kinder haben Meure zu ihm zuzugehen, and the children are afraid to approach him.
Okay, thank you, Rafael. Well, they don't know him. The children don't know him after 6 years, so that's it. Okay, Louisa, please.
Yes, hi. I have a question.
Yes.
Which children are they? His children?
His children. But when he left, one was not born yet and one was a baby.
Okay. I'm sorry because I missed last week and I couldn't make up for it. So those hearts hat nebech Chaiken richtig gesagt. The heart I don't know how to translate this. Is it proof that she was right or something like that?
She was right, yes, yeah.
Meierl, der ausgedienter Soldat, hat nicht mehr gewollt sitzen mit dem Weib und hat sich eingeactioned is it?
Yes, he was stubborn.
Yeah, I mean from action, right?
Yes.
As sie passt nicht zu ihm. So Meyer, the Oisgedienster, I don't know what that is, the soldier, but
that he finished his no,
The
he
service.
finished his service.
accomplished.
Discharged.
Discharge, the discharge, yeah, that's the
Okay.
word. The
The
discharge.
discharged soldier had nicht mehr gewollt, he did not want to sit with his wife und hat sich, and he became stubborn as sie passed nicht to him. So, and he became stubborn when she passed.
No, that she.
So what would past be? That she doesn't like him?
No, that
Didn't
she's
suit.
not right for him.
Yeah, she
say
didn't
that.
suit him.
Yeah, she didn't
He
suit
Right,
him.
she didn't
no
suit him.
longer suitable for him.
Right.
Yeah.
She is
And
too.
let's
She is too mager. She is too. I don't know what mager means.
thin.
Skinny.
Oh,
She's too
skinny. Thank
skinny.
you. Und hat die Mame hat sich gelegt in der Länge und in der Breite und es hat ihr gerissen das Herz, hat das nicht geholfen. And even though the mother, she...
That's an idiom. Liegen sich in der Länge und in der Breite.
Meaning that she spent a lot of time.
No matter what she did.
Say that
What
again?
is it?
No matter what she did.
No,
Yeah.
no matter what she did with the eso hat ihr gerissen. I think you need to help me with a sentence then. Up to the
Okay,
comma.
so
Her heart was broken.
Can you?
What is gerissen?
okay, Maurice, can
Right,
you
no matter what
translate
she
this?
did, her heart was broken.
Okay.
Gerissen is,
Oh,
her
gerissen
heart
is
was
broken.
torn.
Okay, thank you. So no matter what she did, her heart was broken. Hat das nicht geholfen. This did not help.
Wait, can you just tell us the Yiddish words that are that idiom? The Yiddish. I know what the English means. You told us. What is the Yiddish idiom?
It's the verb reißen, to tear. Her heart was torn.
No. I'm talking no matter what she did.
Oh.
Liegen in der Lang und in der Breit.
Right. She laid down this way. Or,
in their
Lang und in der Breit. Whether she laid down straight away or crosswise.
Oh, no matter how she.
No matter what she did, right.
Gelegt in their Lang und in their
Breit.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the idiom. Okay.
Yes.
So der Sof ist gewesen, es ist gekommen zu a get. So the end was that this ended up in a divorce.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
No.
Any comments?
Mina.
Anything before we move to the next one?
How many children did they really have?
Maurice.
Oh, sorry.
I just wanted to point out there are a couple of paragraphs up when he's coming into the town and the horses are riding fast. The word porach is a cloud of dust that the horses are kicking up. That's porach.
Okay.
The word pare is the word for steam. They're not
okay, yes.
kicking up steam. They're kicking up dust on the road.
Okay.
One is porach, the other is pare.
Okay, makes more sense. Thank you.
Sure.
How many children did they really have together?
Two.
Is it
two?
What? Oh, two. Because 10
Yes.
children came to. It reminded me when my brother was coming home from the army, and he was walking down the we called it the street, and my mother and I ran to him. And it's the same, just reminded me of that. Ran to him and hugged him and everything, just like they did.
Did he look like a Heidemuck?
No.
Okay,
When was that? What we wore?
The Korean War.
The Korean? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Rafael?
Yeah, two things. Firstly, Maurice is right. Porach is dust. And the other thing is I looked up in Stuttgart for this particular idiom. Legen sich in der Länge und in der Breite, which literally means to lay down in the length and in the breadth. He has as a synonym in the group for putting out a lot of effort. And like reißen sich den Pelz, schlagen sich Kopf in Wand, and a few others which I've never heard of. For example, brennen die Bod. But anyway, it means to put out a lot of effort.
Okay, thank you. Mariv, you wanted to say something?
Don't trust your mother to pick your wife or husband for you.
Okay, depends. You know, the Indians are still doing it,
Yeah.
and some of them say it's working. And in the Hasidic worlds are doing it, and who knows? You know.
So some old school folk stage communities still do it. It was offered to me, and I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. Okay. So guys, we are moving to yes, Steve, before we move, Steve. Steve? Steve, you are muted.
Can't hear
Steve.
you.
You are muted.
Yeah, some people say that's when I sound the best. So,
Okay.
okay. So, I don't know if anybody spoke about this earlier, and I apologize for if I'm repeating it. I'll stop. But I don't know if anybody remembers a story. It's a fable, a Chelmic kind of fable. I can't say it in Yiddish, but it's a story about the most religious man in the world. And this tzaddik wants to meet him, and he goes to his house. And I'll make this short. It's a whole story. And he goes to him, and he figures, oh my goodness, this is going to be the most religious experience. And the guy doesn't daven, he doesn't lay tefillin, and he thinks, okay, well, he's just out in the woods all day chopping wood and eating. That's all he does is eat and chop wood, and he eats and he eats and he eats, and he's a humongous man. And to make a long story short, he figures come Shabbos, it's going to be amazing. And on Shabbos, the guy works and eats and works. And he finally says to him, how is it that people think you are such a tzaddik, such a religious man? He says, I'm not a religious man. He says, all I know is that my father was tied to the tree by the Ukrainian soldiers, and they burned him alive. And he was a teeny wisp of smoke when he died. He said, but all I can tell you is when they come to burn me by the tree, he says, I will burn for days. I will make a fire that will be seen everywhere. So it's I don't know if anybody's ever seen it was a play on Broadway called To Live Another Summer to Pass Another Winter or something like that, and that was one of the stories from it.
Good old Jewish humor.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I remember this from 40 years ago, but I can't remember what I had for breakfast. Right.
Okay. It's nice.
I'm also going to say I have to go. So happy Thanksgiving to all, and I'll see you all soon.
Okay. We'll see you next week.
Yes.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye. Okay. So we are going.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask one more question?
Yes. Yeah.
Please. I wasn't here the day that we started rereading this story, but I'm not really clear about the meaning of the title. Funder
Slushbe is barracks from the barracks. That's the meaning of slushbe.
Thank you.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is, in the story, there's another word for barracks which is different. So that confuses you, but there's two words for barracks.
Thank you.
The other one is kazarme. Okay. Rafael?
Yeah, slujba can also just mean the being in service in the army. So it's not necessarily a place as much as an occupation.
Okay.
Hello there. Welcome back to Becca.
And one more
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, Luisa.
There was a word that we read a little while ago that sounded, I cannot find it now, but it was like empty, and you said it's a Slavic word, right? Something with pust.
Yeah, it's a pustitie.
Pustitie. In
Pustitie.
Polish, puste means empty.
Empty. Okay. Yeah, but I checked I checked it in the dictionary, and pustitie means make way. Yeah,
okay.
Move, okay. Make way. Yeah,
it's really
make an empty opening for me to.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I decided that we have been enough in Eastern Europe, and we are going to visit some other places like South America, Australia, with Jewish stories that happened in these places. So this is not a story, that's a travelogue. Peretz Hirschbein was a writer, he was a playwright, and he also wrote a lot about his travels in the world. And that book, Von Weite Länder, is about his travels in South America. I chose only the one in Brazil because we did something about Argentina a year ago, I think, or something. So, but we have never done anything for Brazil. So that is, how do you say reshamim, Luisa?
Reshamim, notes. Notes?
Those, it's not exactly notes.
Impressions?
Impressions. Those are his impressions from Brazil and from the Jews in Brazil. Afterwards, I also found a story by a Jewish Brazilian writer in Yiddish, and we will read that story, and we will see how they, complement each other. So let's start reading about the Eden in Brazil. So Karen, can you start reading, please? Karen, you're with us? Yeah, I see you. Karen? Okay, maybe not.
It looks like she stepped away because she took her picture off. So maybe she stepped away for a bit.
Maybe she stepped away for a bit. Okay, no problem. Beverly?
Sure. Yidden in Brazil, is that number 28?
Yes, 28.
Wegen die Svardische Yidden in Brazil, regarding the Sephardic. Hello?
Yeah, go on.
Regarding the Sephardic Jews in Brazil, was haben aher angehoben zu wandern, noch in Anhalt von 17 Jahr. Excuse me, which started. Go back. Started to come there. They started to wander in during the 17th century.
Yes.
1700s. Hundert. Will ich reden bei an ander Gelegenheit. I will talk about a different, I'm not sure what Gelegenheit is.
Opportunity.
Okay. I'll talk about them with a different opportunity. Das Mal will ich erzählen von unsere Russischen Jiden. Oh, now this time I'm going to tell about the Russian Jews.
Yes,
Russisch. Okay. Wenn man Einwanderung aher, they wandered in here, hat sich angehoben sehr in nicht kein Mazel dikasha. So they started wandering in there and not such a happy time. On Hutch Brazilian liegt auf den Weg kein Argentina. Oh, and in case a Brazilian
No,
person,
not in case. And although
although the Brazilians are in the way of going to Argentina.
No, Brazil. Here it's Brazil, the country Brazil.
Yeah. And although Brazil lies in the way of going to Argentina, doch hat sich die jüdische Immigranten angeheben ganz selbstständig. So here, even though it's on the way to Argentina, these Jewish immigrants were upstanding.
No, it started independently.
Independent.
Independently. So they
started
independently.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Beverly, just thank you. I'll call on you later because this I promised Bob.
No, that's
Bob,
fine. It's calling someone else. It's fine.
It's Bob. No, not someone else, Bob, because he prepared it. Okay, Bob.
She lets me cheat by preparing ahead of time.
Yeah, some people I'm sending them paragraph and they prepare it home. So
yeah. Someone read the word that means independently.
Selbstständig.
Say it again.
Selbstständig. I'm circling.
Stand alone, that you can stand alone.
There are so many consonants together, I couldn't figure it out. Selbstständig.
Yes.
That's
yes.
it. Good.
Yeah. That's it.
In your 1890, in the year 1890, haben Agenten von der brasilianische Regierung, agents from the Brazilian government, abgehoben zu verspreiten, Jedios zwischen die jüdische Immigranten in England. So they started spreading news among the Yiddish immigrants, Jewish immigrants in England. As in Brazilian bekommt man umsist Erd und zu der Erdgeld that one receives in Brazil land and free land.
Free land.
And with the land money, Hazer, Bechomis, und Erdenguts.
All those goods.
All them goods. Homes, a house, cattle, I guess, and everything good with other goods.
And everything good. Yeah.
Yeah. As in Brazilian, fleeced.
What's behemoth?
Cattle, cows.
Cattle. Okay, we got it. Okay.
Hazer, as in Brazilian, fließt Milch und Honig und darüber. In Brazil, there's flows milk and honey, and therefore, wenn es will fahren hin, when one wants to go there, wird man ihm, now this word I don't know,
Bekovet.
What does that mean?
With honor.
With honor.
What does it mean?
With honor.
Oh, with honor. Oh, okay. I couldn't find it in the dictionary. With honor.
Usually COVID, it's the V in the front that's confused why you couldn't find it.
It's Hebrew.
Hebrew word.
It's Hebrew, that's why you didn't.
Yeah, yeah. Wegfahren, auf dem Chushben, Chushben von der Regierung.
Regierung.
Okay, one gets everything one can travel there at the expense of the government.
Exactly.
What does the word heshbon mean?
At the expense of
the expense of the account.
Oh, at the expense.
And how about verlieren?
That's government.
That's government.
Oh.
Right, yeah. Euch hat man mit dir gewähnt, als es nötig, jeder soll haben größere Familie. It's they also learned or were informed that it's necessary for everyone to have a big family. Was mehr nefishes jener hat in Stub als mehr Erd that bekommt. The more people you have in the house, the more land you'll get.
Okay, thank you. Guys, I know how to pronounce it in Hebrew, nefashot. How is it in Yiddish?
Nefishes.
Nefishes? Nefishes? Okay, thank you.
What is it?
Neshumes, no? Neshumes.
No,
It's
no.
souls.
Nefoshes. Nefoshes.
Okay. Okay, no, that's something else, Neely. Neely, that's something else.
You know, every way I tried it, it didn't sound good. It just somehow it's better in Hebrew. I think it just works much better in Hebrew.
Yeah, nefashot.
Nefashot, yeah. Okay, Marsha and then Refoel. Marsha?
Could another meaning for cheshbon be a mess?
No.
No.
Sometimes people say
no.
it's a cheshbon.
No.
Cheshbon is an accounting
like that.
Here it's on the account of the government. So, okay. Refoel, please.
Yeah, it's clearly nefoshes. In the same form as chadorim, the second syllable that gets accented typically in the plural becomes a kometz aleph, nefoshes.
Nefoshes. Okay. I don't know how to pronounce this because you see, at home we spoke part Hebrew, part Yiddish, but the Yiddish part didn't include the Hebrew because whenever my parents spoke Hebrew, they pronounced it the Hebrew way. So I don't know how to pronounce it the Yiddish way. So, okay. So Susan, go on. The agitatie. Just a moment. I want something else. I'm reading now also stories about Australia, and it's the same thing. They told them the more people in a family, the better, because then you will get more. I don't know, more sheep, more herd, whatever. So, but it's the same. It's very interesting.
Yeah, because the whole those lands were empty at that point, and they wanted to populate them. Argentina as well.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Luisa.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to say. That was the time, and they wanted European people. Because the current at the time, the thinking was that there was a lot of contrast on a cultural level, between Europe in embodying the civilization as opposed to the indigenous country, which was in their view the opposite of civilization.
Well, and they would be educated. I would think.
Yeah,
the Europeans.
absolutely. Yeah, in Argentina there was a
completely educated at that point.
In Argentina,
when I was in Argentina, and Luisa, maybe you can concur. There were a lot of Italians, a lot of Italian food. Was that your experience also?
But the Italians came later to Argentina because the Italians came at the beginning of the at the beginning of the 20th century. But the move was initiated in Argentina, and I'm sure that by extension in Brazil, because Argentina was probably more sophisticated at the time, and especially culturally, because there was a president by the name of Sarmiento, who was very impressed with American and European educational systems. And he tried to implement those in Argentina around that time. And probably that was the reason that the country was empty, and they wanted to populate the country. So I'm sure that the same thing happened in Brazil. So.
Okay, so let's find out. Rafael, you want to say something, or you're in this?
Yes, I want to point out that the country was not empty. It was full of indigenous people. And this is the standard colonial point of view, that if it's not Europeans, they don't exist. This was true in many, many places.
I changed my words. My maximum apologies, of course.
Right. And so the government wanted Europeans there, but they certainly didn't want the indigenous people to remain where they were. So this is colonialism.
Yeah, I think the first Jews in America, in the United States, actually started off. They were the Portuguese Jews from went into Brazil and then were shipped up to I don't know if it was
New Mexico and Arizona.
Recife. Well, one of the and they went up into Charleston, or in the southern U.S.
Okay, Luisa, I
what
see
year?
But the reason was different.
In the
this was
in the
17th century.
What?
In the 16th century.
This happened in the 17th century, and what had happened with the Jews that had been there, they were working for the Dutch India Company, and they were in Recife working for the Dutch India Company, and which was similar to the British India Company. But the Jews were very well connected in Amsterdam and so forth, and the Dutch India Company sent them to Recife. But what happened was that Brazil, being a colonial possession for the most part at the beginning of the Portuguese, was having wars with the Portuguese, and for a while there were parts that were reconquered by the Portuguese, and the Jews were very concerned about the Inquisition, because the Inquisition was alive and kicking in Portugal. And so the Jews ended up leaving Recife and ending up in the Caribbean. And from the Caribbean, they came to New York, New Amsterdam in 1648. So that was the first group of Sephardic Jews that left there. But clearly, we're talking about a different wave, because this happened much later.
Okay, thank you, Mariv.
1890.
Yeah, I've been attending a number of Zoom presentations. The Sephardic community they're doing programs on their history, and basically a lot of Jews who became Christianized but didn't want to, or refused to become Christianized, thought that if they went to the colonies, they could get away from the Inquisition. And for
many did.
Then the Inquisition followed them there, so then they started spreading out. It's sort of what Louisa was saying, but I'm adding a little bit more. And one place they did go was up into, I think it's New Mexico and Arizona. There are communities there that are older than the United States of Jews. You know, that Sephardic Jews that have been there before anybody went to New York. It's kind of amazing.
Okay, guys, I think I'll stop the sharing and we will continue talking about it, because it's 12 o'clock. So we will continue reading reading it next time. So yeah, I saw that Louisa raised her hand again.
Mina, a dunk. I love the fact that we're learning history and we're kind of going around the world right now. And this is really fabulous. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I think that it's interesting just to know.
Yeah.
To see,
I mean,
to see other things.
Yeah, if we're going to be reading Yiddish, in Yiddish, why not read about something that some of us know little bits and pieces, but not the whole story. So it's
Well,
really fascinating.
Louisa knows more about it because it's kind of an area of expertise. So we would love to hear you, Louisa.
Thank you. Thank you.
In another sentence, he's going to say that he's not going to talk much about the Sephardim. He's talking about the Russian and Eastern European.
Right.
Came much later.
But I wanted, what I wanted to say was that the Inquisition was not with the same force. It's very difficult not to block all of Latin America together, but Latin America was divided by the Spaniards in the several viceroyalties that had to do with Spain, which had very different historical tracks. And at the same time, the Portuguese, who were in many ways even worse than the Spaniards in their Inquisition in Portugal, then that was the reason that in the areas that had been controlled by the Portuguese, there was this fear by the Jews. But going back to the Inquisition in Latin America, for example, the Inquisition was very, very strong in Peru, and it was a very controlled government by the Spanish crown, because Peru had a lot of gold and silver that was constantly shipped back to Spain. Stolen from Peru, of course, stolen and shipped back to Spain. So the Inquisition was terrible in Peru as well. But as you went down, 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 like you get to Argentina, it was a completely different story, even though all of these, remember, that's why Brazil speaks Portuguese today, which is a different Portuguese from the one from Portugal. But then there's all the Spanish-speaking areas. So what we have to basically remember is that we cannot lump all of South America under the same package, because every area has a different story. And Argentina was liberated from Spain together with Chile and Peru. And the history of Brazil is very different because they were subject much, much longer. They did not have the ability to shake themselves from the power of Portugal until much, much later. So it's very different tracks.
Okay, thank you. We will need you to come here every week because we will continue reading this. Yeah, Maurice, can you just tell us what you wrote?
Well, the history of the civilized Europeans.
Maurice, wir kennen sein Punim.
Anyway, the Europeans who came to Brazil, they murdered millions of native Brazilians, as well as bringing millions of African slaves to Brazil. That was the contribution of European civilization. That's all.
Yes. So much for being civilized, right?
Right.
Okay, so just a moment. Marie and then Louisa. Marie.
I think Louisa should go first because I think I'm going to change the subject slightly. Go ahead, Louisa.
Okay, so
Louisa, I'm going to follow up on what Maurice just said. And first of all, there was some kind of a war between Argentina and Brazil at the beginning of the 19th century, but there was a huge war at the end, which was called the War of Paraguay, and that one involved Paraguay together with Argentina and Brazil, and Argentina ended up shipping all its black slaves to that particular war. So that's why there were not many slaves left in Argentina, even though in Argentina there was no sugar cane for the most part. So according to what I learned in school, they treated the blacks much better than in other places. I don't know whether that is true or not, but what we do know is that by the time I grew up and so forth, there were really no black people at all. And there aren't many black people at all if you go to Argentina. Whereas if you go to Brazil, they integrated with the society. And what we know is that the blacks that were in Argentina were just sent with the army to fight that war.
Okay, thank you. Marsha was before. Marsha?
Entschuldigung mir. Maurice, maybe you know if
And Maurice left.
Oh, okay. But maybe somebody knows. It's a familiar song, what we were listening to, that Amy Goldstein was the singer. The melody is Zaya Shane, and I just wondered if there was an English opera from the same melody. It sounds very familiar.
I don't know. Maybe you should write an email to Maurice or ask him
Okay.
next time. Okay, because
well.
I see that he left. Yeah. Okay. So Marie.
So I just wanted to say I can't remember where I read it, but recently, maybe in those Sephardic programs I went to, they are guessing now that something like 1/3 of I think it was Argentina or maybe Mexico, I'm not sure, are of Jewish descent by DNA that call themselves Christians and think they're Christians. And a large part of Spain and Portugal also are actually by DNA, descended from the Jews that had to convert.
Okay, yeah, Luisa?
I can answer that one. A very well-known historian and writer called Americo Castro from Spain holds that 1/3 of the Spaniards has Jewish blood. So there were so many converts everywhere. In Spain, it's impossible to track how many people converted, because if you really look at the subsequent centuries, many and most, and that's really one of my favorite subjects, a lot of what was produced culturally was produced by people who had been forced to convert or renamed because they converted and so forth. And then, of course, a lot of them went into Latin America. And there are many stories about Mexico, particularly the city of Monterrey, which is very close to us here in Texas, that some of the major families are descendants of conversos, and I think that they acknowledge that. But anyway, there's lots of people who converted everywhere.
And some of them are going back to Judaism. I mean, it'd be amazing, Yeah.
Well, it's astounding because we're such a small percentage, but if we look at those lost in the Holocaust and the conversos, what can I say? Numbers would have been greater.
Also, a lot of people there's a woman in Italy who's doing genealogy, and she goes around door to door and talks to people and says, to them, what's your name? What weird customs does your family have? And a lot of people who think they're Catholic, she tells them you're actually descended from Jews.
Yeah.
Okay. Luisa, and then I think
that's my last comment. I don't want to monopolize with
yeah, but because you're from the area and you're working on this, your research is on that. So
I once read not too long ago, and I can't remember where, that if it had not been for all the persecutions that the Jewish people has endured for all the years that we all know about and throughout history, we today would be as big as China or India in population.
I can believe it. Yeah.
So I read that not too long ago.
every ghetto they put us in, we grew 10 times the size of the ghetto, you know, and
Well, they estimated if all the people who were not persecuted and killed, you know, if we would have become a normal country, if we had remained a normal country, today we would have,
wow.
we would be in the billions. I mean,
We used to have several Ethiopians working in the garage in my condominium, and they told me how many buildings had Jewish stars on them. I mean, that's I don't know how large Ethiopia is, and obviously, you know, many of them were brought into Israel, but it's a whole other area where there were Jews. So it's fascinating. It's sad, but fascinating. So thank you all.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Louisa,
Mina.
for explaining everything. I
Thank
hope you
you.
will join us next week.
God
and
willing, God willing.
I thought
God willing to
I
you
thought
know-
Bob had his hand up. I don't know, maybe not.
No, Bob, he just wrote thank you,
Oh, okay.
happy Thanksgiving, and thank you to the Yiddish Vinkl. He had to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
you.
Some people I give them reading in advance because
Yeah.
then they
Yeah.
So
Okay.
whoever wants me to do,
idea.
I
A
can
good,
email to me.
good Chag, Thanksgiving.
Enjoy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Happy
Thank
Thanksgiving,
you.
and
Thank you,
see you
Mina.
next week. Bye.
Thank you, Mina. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Louisa.
Happy
Bye,
Thanksgiving.
everyone. Bye, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.